Hi guys, today I'm thinking about mapping cheap travel routes in Asia. The map shows the cost of living for a single person per month in each country for the most popular destinations in Asia in dollars and pounds. Also shown are the main international airports, the population of the country, the percentage of English speakers, the Human Development Index figure, and the type of tax system the country has, if you're thinking about relocating to the country, and also the 10 most populated cities in the country. Of course, the other cost which is involved is transportation between the countries and also to and from Europe, which is explored in a separate video. The last map shows all of the countries together on one map and maps out a route between all of the countries with a low cost of living. So the first country on our list is Vietnam, where the cost of living per month is $650, which equates to £491 per month. So the population of Vietnam is 101 million people, of which 10% speak English. Vietnam has a HDI figure of 0.766, so there's still some way to go in terms of development. Also, Vietnam has a progressive tax system, which means that if you relocated there, you would still be taxed on any of your foreign sourced income, which would include a pension or ISA income. So some of the cities in Vietnam are huge, with Hanoi in the north, the capital city, having a population of 8 million people, and Ho Chi Minh City in the south having a population of 9 million people, and the wider Ho Chi Minh City area having a population of 14 million. The second city on our list is Thailand, where the cost of living is $914 per month, which is £690 per month. The population of Thailand now stands at 71 million, of which 27% of people can speak English. Thailand has a HDI figure of 0.798, so still a little room for manoeuvre in the development. And Thailand also has a progressive tax system, which means you would be taxed on any of your foreign sourced income if you decided to move there. So the city of Bangkok has a population of 10.5 million. And then the second city is Chiang Mai in the north, which has a population of only 0.6 million. The rest of the cities are relatively low in population, but the Bangkok metro area has a population of 20 million people. Next on our list is Indonesia, where the cost of living is very low at $575 per month, which equates to £434 per month. The population of Indonesia is huge at 284 million people, of which 30% speak English. Indonesia has a HDI figure of 0.728, so still some way to go in terms of development. Again, Indonesia has a progressive tax system, which means you would be taxed on your foreign sourced income if you attempted to relocate to Indonesia. So the biggest city in Indonesia is Jakarta, which has got a population of around 10.6 million people, and there are many cities surrounding Jakarta which have a very large population. And the wider Jakarta metro area has a population of 42 million people. Of course, one of the areas which is popular in Indonesia is the island of Bali. So next is the Philippines, where the cost of living is extremely low at $616 per month, which equates to £465 per month. The population of the Philippines is nearly double that of the United Kingdom at 112 million people, of which 63% speak English, which is extremely high. The Philippines has a HDI figure of 0.72, so there's still some way to go in terms of development. The major benefit of the Philippines is that it has a territorial tax system, which means that if you relocated there, you would not be taxed on your foreign sourced income at all, which would include pensions and ISA income and the like. So the biggest city in the Philippines is Manila, with a population of the urban centre of 1.8 million people, with many other cities surrounding it within the metro area of Manila. So the metro area of Manila has a population of 27 million people. Then we have Cebu City in the south, which has 0.9, and Davao City in the south as well, which is 1.7 million people. So in Malaysia, the cost of living is a little higher, but is still very manageable at $824 per month, which equates to £622 per month. The population of Malaysia is relatively lower at 34 million people, of which 57% speak English, which is extremely high. Malaysia has an HDI figure of 0.819, which is relatively higher than the rest of the countries on the list. Also, Malaysia has a territorial tax system, which means you would not be taxed on any of your foreign sourced income were you to relocate to Malaysia. However, there appears to be a catch, which is that the visa requires you to buy a property in Malaysia, the visa being called the Malaysia My Second Home Visa. So the population of Kuala Lumpur is 7 million people, and there's also many urban areas surrounding it. So the population is shown as 8 million for the metro area. So when producing a map with all of these places to keep the cost of living low while you're travelling or when you've relocated, a travel route forms where you can keep the cost of living down for the whole travel route. So some suggestions for the cities to travel to on this travel route to keep the cost of living low: maybe Thailand, Chiang Mai, Bangkok and Pattaya, Malaysia, Penang and Kuala Lumpur, Indonesia, Jakarta and Bali, the Philippines, Cebu City, Davao City and Manila, and Vietnam, Hanoi, Da Nang, Nha Trang, Ho Chi Minh City, and then possibly back to Bangkok to fly back to the west from the hub airport of Bangkok. So the outcome is that Southeast Asia could easily be travelled cheaply, even on a full-time basis, if you are lucky enough to have the time and money to do so, and move on to another country when the visa runs out. This could be achieved for a cost as low as $12,000 per year, including transport. which is around £8,940 per year, or around $1,000 per month, which is about £745 per month. There are reports of people living in Asia for even less than this, and of course some people living with a cost of living a lot higher. So if you have an income in a Western country from, for example, a pension, dividends or property, or you have a pile of cash, you could take advantage of geographical arbitrage to live a similar or even better standard of life for much less money than in the West. Okay guys, that was mapping cheap travel routes in Asia. I'll see you on the next one.